Hi, I don't know how much memory I actually have here. Everything I put on this phone is like high definition. It takes up like 20 minutes, takes up like 2 gigabytes of memory. So here I am. Today is Sunday. There was a class. Midwife runs a class like 4 times a year, and I attend. And it's interesting, some of the people I realize I haven't been to a lot of their office visits, so I'm like, whoa, I better pick up the pace. Maybe they make their visits on weird days, or maybe it's still early in their pregnancy, because then you only do like once a month. So there was there's that whole thing of, I graduated from medical school last year, 2014, and for naturopathic, in my case, I didn't apply for residency. I considered it, but I wanted to continue my education in midwifery and continue the requirements, which aren't allowed on residency. I almost wish they were. I almost wish that you could do it as like an extra resident, or like maybe even an on-call resident. Like, they should do it, like, give me ideas, but to keep, like, the same institution that trained you to do that is really against you doing that. But then they make a whole bunch of money charging people to do that, but you can't really work in the facility for doing that. I feel like they should have another resident who can maybe even help some of the students find positions in midwifery. And I know there's a different type of, I think some of the schools used to have women's health or pregnancy related clinic shifts, but the insurance is weird for naturopaths, so I don't know. That's just my idea. I mean, it seems so easy to say. People, they will see what's already like set up with the government and they'll run with it. So, but anyways, forget it. The point of that is, as far as not being a medical doctor, there's no like, oh, I'm getting ready to graduate and I already know where residency is and I already know where I have to move or not, or this or that, or I have 3 choices, I'm going to get one of them, or whatever they choose, 4 choices, 3 choices. And for me, it's like, okay, I got to bust my butt and study for the boards, and then pass my boards and come up with some money for the license, and then get my license and find a clinic location and get malpractice insurance. Because it's like, you got to do like one thing, then the next, then the next. Then you get malpractice insurance, then you can credential with insurance. And then you credential with insurance, and then you start advertising. And then you start advertising, and then you get patients. And that's like a year after you graduate. Unfortunately for me, I had a clinic location and it disappeared. So all of the footwork I've done as far as trying to credential with insurance and stuff, it's all on hold because they want you to have a facility. Now, I know some people, some professionals that primarily work doing house calls or telemedicine, and they don't need like a physical location where the inspector is going to come and look at it, or if you use it as your business address and get paid through there, like, your housing won't be fishy with you saying, oh, why are you working out of your house? Like, so that's where I am now. They changed management, and I'm almost I was looking online for the new management's rules and regulations, but it is like public housing, and unfortunately, trying to be self-sufficient and build a business and keeping the profits to do something that you spent over $200,000 doing. I spent like over $300,000 doing this, and that's not including the interest payments. That's not including how much gas and how we just get all of our clothes for free. This shirt is free. The necklace is free. This was free. The pants, I did buy it at a thrift store, and I thought it was overpriced. And I never went back to that thrift store. But I was like, these pants are like so raggedy, and I'm like still wearing them because they're one of my best pair of pants. And I'm like checking. Here, let me show you. Oops, that's my hand. I was checking the this part. Oh shoot, I just noticed it is torn. I was trying to check to see if it was torn. Can you see that? Shoot, that's what I get for being short, not hemming my pants. They might have already been. I was checking earlier today and I didn't see anything wrong in the front. So it's like I'm trying to go out and be professional and do interviews and be like advertising for work to be a physician and charge a fair price, which may be more than I can pay right now. And then I'm like wearing all free clothes and rags. I did buy the socks new. I think they're new from Turkey off of eBay because they're wool and I'm like allergic to stuff. If you buy like cotton socks, you can't get 100% cotton. If you buy, and plus the tops are like this narrow and your like feet are purple at the end of the day. And then you buy like something you think is cotton or something, and then the bands and half the stuff in it is spandex or something you're allergic to. And then you buy like wool here, which is mostly nylon, and that becomes holey a few times after wearing it. And so I just bought, well, I bought this for my Christmas present. I had all of my socks for like 2 years, had holes in them. And the last thing I bought before I graduated, like the term before I graduated, because I knew I was broke the last term because I had to pay my classes, which somebody else voluntarily promised to pay for, and that fell through. But like winter term, I think all of my shoes had like holes in the bottom, and it rains a lot here. So, well, the shoes I wore most had holes in the bottom. Most of the other shoes I got for free. Some of them a size and a half too big, 2 sizes too big, and I just stuffed like a huge wad of toilet paper in there. And I have narrow heels, so I'm just like, please don't fall, please don't fall. Like, I'm just like, this is probably not the best thing. But then when your feet are like abnormally long, it's like wearing clown feet and you like kick things or trip over your own feet. So I bought one pair of clogs that claimed to be really good quality. And my friend got some and she said they don't stink too, which was a problem. Me being afraid of getting some weird. The thing is, when I'm exposed, this fabric is weird too, but I just gave in because I had to be somewhere, and it's pretty, in my mind it's pretty, but, and plus, the clothes I've been wearing apparently have holes and raggedy. But yeah, I bought those shoes, and I had a pair of old Doc Martens from 1996, maybe, and they had holes in them, and the bottoms were completely worn out. I had other shoes, they didn't have holes to the bottom. A lot of them, they had like thumbtacks to the bottom, but the bottoms were super slippery. So anywhere you walk, it's like you're just about falling over. So you pretty much like need a cane to go anywhere. So I was like, retire these. I can't even give these away because someone's going to break their neck. Try to buy my kids shoes because they outgrow them fast, and not buy myself shoes. But then I was trying to be a student doctor walking around with the squashy because like literally like the whole heel and front part of my shoe is gone, worn all the way through, and I'm getting out of the car to park and my foot is soaking wet, and this happened over and over again. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna stuff a bunch of paper towels in there when I get there because A, I don't want to get foot fungus, B, my foot is cold and wet right now, and C, I'm like, I don't want them to stay soaking wet and get like stinky and musty and moldy. But yeah, I've stuffed so much junk in my shoes, and I've gotten so many pair of new used and free shoes. I was just like, dear God, please allow me not to get foot fungus or plantar warts or anything. Like, I'm just like, dear God. It's just like, you're taking a chance, and if you do get something, you could have a lifetime of that, or spend a lot of money trying to treat it. So my friend told me, she's like, don't use used shoes. Just, if anything, if you can do anything, just go to Payless and buy shoes. She was talking more about my shoes. Like, that's what I do with my kid. We were like homeless. She goes, if anything, just go to Payless and get a cheap pair of shoes. And yeah, you'll have to replace them every few months, but you won't get all these diseases. And so we used to get Payless gift cards for being homeless, but we haven't got those in years. So it's like, I don't know. And those I'd even get. We got like 3 or 4 of them, I think, in the 10 years ago, and for the kids' school, new school, our Christmas gifts. So someone sponsored us. They got them. I got one once from a meeting that actually was adults, but every time I got all of my shoes from a free pile. Didn't even know whose shoes they are, and I want to say this because I can look at people and be like, oh, look at those people, they don't work, they get money on the side and don't tell anyone, and then they get all these social services, and their kids get all new school clothes, and they're dressed in nicer than the kids that my kids went to school with in the suburbs, and like driving nicer cars than, like, or having more cars. Like, my parents would drive Mercedes and stuff, but they even didn't have as many cars as the people I see out here. So it's like, how do they do? I'm just like, how do they do it? And how do they pay insurance? And how do they pay for gas for that many people to drive at different times? And it's none of my business. Because I was like, oh, I'm working this low wage job. I'm using every penny to try to keep my medical license so it doesn't lapse. And then I'm busting my butt trying to have enough energy to eat or have enough energy to work, because I get so dizzy, especially since after a car accident I've almost passed out at work so many times, and I was like, part of it was an accident, but what made it worse was going days without really eating. And when we had like food stamps, I was still working, and even, in fact, when I was in school, you had to work study, or another job, or you wouldn't qualify. But for me, we should have qualified because the kids lived home with me alone, and they were under 13 at the time. They're not anymore, but yeah, most of the students were getting like $300-400 in food stamps a month, and we were getting $300 a month. And I was like, this is weird. I called them up. People were like, we don't use this much. It's like, for me, just me, I don't use this much. They're like, be lucky they used a couple hundred, and they're just like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, gosh, I wish that I had as much as you did, because I have 2 growing kids. And so I used my loan money instead of saving it to build a business. I used my loan money so I wasn't having children go to bed hungry. And they eat so little because they're used to me being in poverty. They eat very small portions. Sometimes they'll eat a little extra. Sometimes I give them a little extra because I don't want it to go bad. I'm like, this is soup. It might sit in there for one day. If I'm home, I'll reheat it. It's fine. But like 2-3 days, that canned soup, it turns like the cream soup. It just separates and gets watery. And it's like, personally, I would eat it, but I'm allergic to everything. That's what I used to do. Just like, you eat everything. Nothing went bad when we had our guinea pig and when I was eating these foods. But then I was allergic to it. And then I would have a really hard time focusing and being able to pass tests, or being able to, like, my grades became superior when I got rid of all the toxins in my food. So after that, went back to school and didn't have food stamps because I was working. Didn't have loan money, and have so much debt in school that I cannot do credit card debt, and I cannot pay 20% a month. Like, no way. Like 18-20%, no way. And it's like, if I could afford it, if I could afford that, I wouldn't need a credit card, then would I? So I just started eating olive oil with cheese and yeast, nutritional yeast, and seaweed mixed together. And sometimes I'd put garlic in it. If I was really feeling like splurging, I'd buy an onion. Might be one in the fridge now. I should get it. Occasionally, I would throw a mushroom. You know, I just wash it and tear it up. Occasionally, especially after the guinea pig died, I just stopped buying so much produce. I was doing really well at eating salads when he was alive because we had to get it. So I did. I hear like the squeak. I don't know if it's a bird or a rat outside. I'm freaking out. So I will still make sure that my kids, like, I would love to eat whole foods, fresh fruits, vegetables, and nuts diet, right, all day. That's what I can eat without getting sick. And a lot of nuts make me sick. A lot of some other things that are like that kind of food that makes me sick. Cheese I'm not too good with. when I eat cheese, I don't pass out because there's enough solid protein in my gut and fat to get me going like 6 hours for like 2 servings of cheese. So that's what I've been doing. I don't recommend anyone else do this. I did it because it was cheap and it was the best way. Like, you can't drive when you're about to pass out from being hungry. You can't work. You can't do medicine. You can't do blood drives. You can't catch babies. Like, you maybe could. Like, I'm a person that needs to eat. If I don't eat, I actually gain a lot. A lot of people gain because their metabolism is screwed up. I gain a lot when I don't eat. We were hungry for years. The stress of not being able to sleep. The high cortisol from being like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry, my stomach's gone, I can't sleep, I gotta get gas tomorrow, oh my gosh, like, this has been going on since I left my ex. My ex was someone who could live fairly poorly. I think a lot of times women need more frequent meals, even if you're really poor, have a low appetite, to keep from having hypoglycemia. I don't know why it is. It seems like some guys don't really get, like, they could forget to eat easily and just be skinny, and then eat like a burger or some coffee and a candy bar and be okay. I feel like women need to eat a little bit more substantially. I don't know why. That's my own opinion. But I've heard that from different relatives and different people about hypoglycemia. And I just figured olive oil, if you get it at the Winco or something on sale, it'll last at least 2 weeks for the little bottle. I get the little one. This would be the cheap. Well, at that store, that's like the only size you can really get. Some of the other stores, like $20. Like, the Co-op has been ridiculous with their prices. I'm gonna write them a letter. I'm like, dude, I might actually ask for my money back. And then the yeast that I got from the store, from Vitacost, depending on where you get it, it's gonna be, you get the cheapest value. The seaweed I just found, I just went through one thing of seaweed. And I went through the whole thing because it has the iodine and the trace minerals. I'll eat the spinach to get the iron. I don't think anything else I eat has iron in it. Sometimes I eat kale, but it used to be I'd eat kale like every day. I didn't know about kale until I moved here, and I started eating only a few years ago. I started eating dry kale from the health food store, and I'd get sick of it and gain a lot of weight. And then someone's like, oh, you can dehydrate it or put it in the oven. I'm like, really? What the heck is kale? I don't even, like, I saw the package food, like, oh, it's a health food. It doesn't have anything I'm allergic to. I can take it in the school. But then, I got my teeth all green. So then I was like, started buying kale and putting in a dehydrator. And I'm like, wow, this is good. I eat the whole thing. And then I was like craving it so much. And I wonder, part of it could be just the nutrients that are in there. I used to eat meat cooked, and then I was eating raw from the dehydrator, so I was making like little buffalo patties or beef jerky. So that then it got to be where I was just making beef jerky because the kids will eat that. They won't really eat the buffalo. And then it's like I can't afford it. I need to pray and fast because I feel like I'm going to starve. So since less than a year ago, I lost like 15, 16 pounds, and not on purpose. In fact, Wednesday, I got laid off my job, and 2 days before, because I've been having some health issues, and I can't address them, including auto accident injuries and other health issues, including a hole in my tooth, and a tooth that happened eating raw food crackers, and it's like a slight fissure or crack in the side, and a chip on the top. And I'm like, they're like, oh, you need to get a crown or something before it splits, and you have to have a root canal or remove the tooth and all this. And then, because I'm like, I should just remove the tooth. I had braces, like, oh, that would be, like, my teeth would be all weird. But, and then I have, like, gum issues, where, like, gum is, like, completely inflamed. And it's, like, I'm supposed to get my teeth cleaned regularly, and I don't. Because I had to pay out of pocket. I don't have insurance that will cover my teeth cleaning. Actually, for several years, I had to pay out of pocket and pay for my insurance, and it never paid for cleaning. So I was when I was homeless, I was supposed to go 4 times a year for gum disease, and the gum disease and tooth loss, like bone loss right here, I was supposed to go and get surgery or something, but then they cut the insurance to not pay for anything unless it was extraction. So I'm like, I actually end up buying like a at-home teeth cleaner thing that sprays water all over the place. So you don't wear your cell phone on you when you do that. But I don't use it like every day. But it's like, I bought it because it costs a whole heck of a lot less than one dental appointment. And unfortunately, it's not the same, especially if you have an issue, they can see it, and you don't see it from home. They can catch it early. You can have a minor little cavity or something, they can catch it early instead of waiting 5 years and being like, oh, your whole tooth exploded. And I just feel sick that our healthcare system is like that. And I spent a whole lot of money in the past for several years paying out of pocket for insurance, monthly fees. For Medicaid, I was paying fees for Medicaid, and I was working like 2 hours a week. So I was just like so scared of my life, and then on top of that, anything that had to be done had to be paid out of cash. If I had a cavity, I had to pay out cash. If I needed x-rayed, I had to pay out cash. And I just feel like it just makes me nauseated, because it's just like, I'm not going. I don't have the cash. Like, I was like, I can't just not pay my bill. Like, I'm an honest person. If you know I have to pay, I need to be able to pay today. I don't want, like, do unto others. And when I have patients, I don't want them stiffing me on the bills. I don't want to go to collections, you know. Payment plan workout, something like that would be okay. But having a payment plan is almost like having a credit card. It's like, you know, your next paycheck is going to go cover this. Like, I'd rather save up for it and then feel comfortable by cutting out, like, things like, gee, someone invited us to a Labor Day party last week. We didn't go because we didn't have gas. Like, cut out stuff like that. So I got laid off my job last year. It's the same place I worked as a student, and then I became an employee and a staff member, and I was like excited and really had a passion for being knowledgeable in the subject and helping the students. And then it's like, and so I was like, and what I wanted to kind of stimulate the rabbit. What I wanted to do was keep working there indefinitely. I've seen people retire there, and I was like, I see other doctors there where they're there in more than one place, and I wanted to do that to keep the philosophy of the school alive, the principles of naturopathic medicine alive, and all of the studies and the honors classes I got where I really was passionate about studying and learning it, not just memorizing it, and even continuing to read my notes and stuff. I wanted to be a useful resource, but apparently they didn't think I was, and they, so now it's like going from saying, can I be a naturopath on the side while I work here and just manipulate my hours to match each other so there's no conflict, you know. I didn't feel ready to work 2 40-hour-week jobs. So I felt like just giving back to that community by busting my butt at work, and then it's like for nothing. So I'm supposedly self-employed. I'm running a store with no store, and I'm running a medical clinic with no clinic. So basically, I'm paying out a bunch of money for licensing, insurance, all this stuff, and I don't have one patient. Like, I don't have one customer. I bought, like, I chipped away and just didn't eat so that I could purchase a website. And all that stuff has to be renewed. And when you first start with something, the fees are cheaper. So it's like, I have to keep on pumping out fees. And I can say that it would be easy. Like, say right now I got a call from somebody that's like, dude, I know you were looking for a space rental. I have a space for rent, $300 a month, including everything, including phone, including fax. Like, this, just be very grateful. And it's like, it's ADA, it's on the first floor, there's no one above you, because it's like maybe one of those buildings that goes like this, then like this, there's no one above you, you got skylight, and it's got like everything I want. It's got a sink, it's got its own bathroom, hot and cold water, it's even got multiple rooms so I can do hydro and all this. It's got a reception area, even if it's just me or my friend now I said I'd hire once I actually get a place on call, so I actually have someone, or if I even could work out of my house. She said she would be part-time on call and a translator, because you can't charge the patient for a translator, but you are not supposed to have a translator be their relative for different reasons. A lot of people have like their little kids and relatives, like, oh, this person is diagnosed with cancer. They don't want to be like that, you know. Plus, it's not a medical translator, so it's really, it's like, you're supposed to have a medical translator in a way, because it's like, some of the, you know, it's just like doctor talking to doctor, nurse talking to nurse, or whatever. The rabbit be standing real high on his legs right now, and I'm kind of, I think he wants me to clean. Rabbit, do you want me to clean your cage? I'm like, he's sort of like, woo. It's like, usually he's down here. Rabbit, you want me to clean your cage now? It's a mess. I think he wants me to, I think I just saw him pee for the first time. We had him for over a year. Rabbit, I gotta clean your cage so you don't make a mess. Sorry, I interrupted. Oh my gosh, I hate being busy. It's like, my family needs me. It's like, I had some health concerns. I was watching a video of this lady. Sorry, I changed the subject, but yeah. Oh yeah, just saying that if I had a place or a clinic, and I just said open, doesn't necessarily always mean that I'm going to be having people break down the door to be my customer. Like, that still needs, it still needs more time and expertise and money, is what the trick is. I think if you're wise and knowledgeable and educated about the subject matter, you can use money to your advantage. But if you're wise and intelligent about the matter, you have to figure out how to get the money and able to